Bound also? No, says he, verse 24. They that are Christ's have crucified the flesh with the affections and lusts. But how? Why, verse 25, by living in the Spirit and walking after the Spirit; that is, by the abounding of the graces of the Spirit in us and walking according to them. For, saith the apostle, these are contrary one to another, verse 17. So that they cannot both be in the same subject, in any intense or high degree. This renewing of us by the Holy Ghost, as it is called, Titus 3:5, is one great way of mortification. He causes us to grow, thrive, flourish, and abound in those graces which are contrary, opposite, and destructive to all the fruits of the flesh and to the quiet or thriving of indwelling sin itself. 2. By a real physical efficiency on the root and habit of sin, for the weakening, destroying, and taking it away. Hence he is called a spirit of judgment and burning, Isaiah 4:4, really consuming and destroying our lusts. He takes away the stony heart by an almighty efficiency, for as he begins the work as to its kind, so he carries it on as to its degrees. He is the fire which burns up the very root of lust. 3. He brings the cross of Christ into the heart of a sinner by faith, and gives us communion with Christ in his death, and fellowship in his sufferings, of the manner whereof more afterward. Secondly, if this be the work of the Spirit alone, how is it that we are exhorted to it? Seeing the Spirit of God only can do it, let the work be left wholly to him. 1. It is no otherwise the work of the Spirit, but as all graces and good works which are in us are his. He works in us to will and to do of his own good pleasure, Philippians 2:3. He works all our works in us, Isaiah 26:12. The work of faith with power, 2 Thessalonians 1:11, Colossians 2:12. He causes us to pray, and is a spirit of supplication, Romans 8:26, Zechariah 12:10. And yet we are exhorted, and are to be exhorted to all these. 2. He doth not so work our mortification in us as not to keep it still an act of our obedience. The Holy Ghost works in us and upon us, as we are fit to be wrought in and upon; that is, so as to preserve our own liberty and free obedience. He works upon our understandings, wills, consciences, and affections, agreeably to their own natures. He works in us and with us, not against us or without us, so that his assistance is an encouragement as to the facilitating of the work, and no occasion of neglect as to the work itself. And, indeed, I might here bewail the endless, foolish labour of poor souls who, being convinced of sin, and not able to stand against the power of their convictions, do set themselves, by innumerable perplexing ways and duties, to keep down sin, but, being strangers to the Spirit of God, all in vain. They combat without victory, have war without peace, and are in slavery all their days. They spend their strength for that which is not bread, and their labour for that which profiteth not. This is the saddest warfare that any poor creature can be engaged in. A soul under the power of conviction from the law is pressed to fight against sin, but hath no strength for the combat. They cannot but fight, and they can never conquer. They are like men thrust on the sword of enemies on purpose to be slain. The law drives them on, and sin beats them back. Sometimes they think, indeed, that they have foiled sin, when they have only raised a dust that they see it not. That is, they distemper their natural affections of fear, sorrow, and anguish, which makes them believe that sin is conquered when it is not touched. By that time they are cold, they must to the battle again, and the lust which they thought to be slain appears to have no wound. And if the case be so sad with them who do labour and strive, and yet enter not into the kingdom, what is their condition who despise all this, who are perpetually under the power and dominion of sin, and love to have it so, and are troubled at nothing but that they cannot make sufficient provision for the flesh to fulfil the lusts? End of chapter 3.